Welcome in for another edition of the Morning Espresso on the SDH Network. I'm Jason Longshore, and this is brought to you by our friends at Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. Not a powerhouse performance from Atlanta United on Saturday night. 1-0 loss to the Philadelphia Union, who go to the top of the Supporters Shield standings with the win and other results around the league. It was better in some ways. I did like, and I talked about it during the match, and I talked about it immediately afterwards. I did like the tweak to the shape that had the team playing a little bit more of one holding midfielder behind two, as opposed to two holding midfielders behind one, and call them six, eights, tens. I think the terminology's honestly gotten confused here at this point. It looked a little different with more of a true two up top with Jamal TRA starting in place of Latte Lot because it's the third game in a week, and Miguel Almirón functioning much more as a very free second forward, although he dropped into the midfield to help in the build up at times. He also didn't really have a lot of defensive responsibilities. So more of a second forward in a very, very free role, somewhat similar to how he played during the playoff run in Atlanta in 2018. There were some things about that that I liked, and there were some things about that that I think can give you some building blocks, but overall the performance wasn't good enough. And it was a situation where you had more of the ball, which was good, but that's expected against Philadelphia, and they're comfortable with that. Philadelphia tweaked their formation multiple times during the match. It was the standard 4-2-2-2 to start with, turned into a little bit more of five in the back at one point in the first half, went to really a very narrow three up top to start the second half with the induction of Ty Baribo coming into the match, and then went back to the 4-2-2-2 after getting the penalty, which was an unfortunate play. Luis Abram, not much he can do as he's sliding and his arm goes up in the slide. I don't think he tried to make himself bigger intentionally, but it is away from his body. Handball called and penalty converted, and you couldn't find the equalizer. Some decent things in it against the top team in the Eastern Conference, but I think it showed the gap between Atlanta United and the top teams in the Eastern Conference right now. Will that change? Well, it's not going to be easy because you're facing the team that is level with points with Philadelphia right now, Cincinnati, next Sunday. But you do get a week to rest and recover and prepare. And Atlanta played Cincinnati very well during the international break where both teams were missing people. Atlanta was missing more. Got a 2-2 draw on the road in that one. Can they go one better and get a win? It would be their first in quite a while. It's much needed. It's something that this week is going to have a lot of extra conversation, a lot of extra probably pressure, and it's a huge game on Sunday night at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Other games around Major League Soccer on the weekend. 2 goals from Marco Royce gave the LA Galaxy a 2-2 draw with LAFC last night in Carson. It's a good result for the LA Galaxy, but they are still winless in 2025 in MLS play. Royce, after dealing with some knee issues, he has 6 goal contributions in his last 5 matches. Greg Vanney's extension was announced on Friday. That was started to be negotiated after winning MLS Cup last December. It was announced on Friday. A lot of people took a lot of shots at it. A lot of people had a lot of fun with hot takes and firing off criticism. I'll go against the common opinion and say that I like the club standing by their manager who carried them back from a lot of struggles. He played for the club. He believes in the club. He took them to a trophy, won the trophy, losing Ricky Puig in the semifinal. He's trying to navigate an injury ravaged group that has had Royce out at times, has had Paintsell out at times, has had Gabriel Peck out at times, and has been missing Ricky Puig and had to deal with the loss of Dejan Joveljic up top. That's a lot. And I think it says a lot for the LA Galaxy to go ahead and get this extension done and announce it right now to try to provide more stability. And the reaction from Ricky Puig is very important in all of this. He was very happy by this announcement. He backed it publicly. And I think that says a lot about how this club and how this group of players feel about their manager, Greg Vanney. So I think all of that means it is a good move to do it. And go ahead and keep making fun memes and having a laugh about it. But I think Greg Vanney will get them back when he can. With all the injuries they're dealing with, there's a lot of stuff that's outside of his control. We blame managers all the time. Sometimes there's really not much a manager can do. I don't know what else Greg Vanney could do with this group currently this season. Orlando, they have not lost in 12 matches. Talking about managers doing a good job, Oscar Pareja has gotten 6 wins and 6 draws in their last 12 in all competitions, and they won 3-0 on Sunday night in Fort Lauderdale against Inter Miami. It's the first home match without a goal for Miami since 2023. Miami's won 5-1 in their last 7 games. Lionel Messi spoke to Apple TV after the match, said that they've got to build some momentum ahead of the Club World Cup. Javier Mascherano said in the post-game press conference, clearly something has happened where the team has lost a lot of confidence. We've had a drop in level individually and collectively, and it's clear one way or another we have tried with different schemes, different names, and still today we are hurting. Mascherano mentions confidence, and that's something that has come up here in Atlanta as well. And I think when you see the hesitation and you see decisions not being made quickly, whether it's to make a run, whether it's to make a pass, that can be a manifestation of a loss of confidence where you are second guessing yourself. And I think we're seeing that with Miami. We've seen it here in Atlanta as well. It's something that is very hard to get back, and you have to keep fighting to get it back. Miami's got a few games here before Club World Cup where they have a group that they can get out of, but not the way that they're playing right now. Other results of note: Chicago, a 4-1 win at Charlotte. A cup was thrown at Greg Berhalter on the sideline. There's video of that, and that is absolutely ridiculous. And it's not the first time that things have been thrown from the stands, nearly hitting people or hitting people on the field. Uh, we can speak to that from the SDH Network staff. It's something that has to be controlled in Charlotte. Now, this one was not after a win, so there was no celebratory cups being thrown. This was in the midst of everything, and it is a very, very bad look. And it does not represent the entire Charlotte FC fan base, but it is something that cannot be condoned and needs to be changed. And I don't know what everybody's issues are with Greg Berhalter at this point. This thing has gotten ridiculous. Maybe this would have happened with any other manager, but man, people have taken stuff personally about Greg Berhalter, who did a pretty decent job as the U.S. men's national team manager, all things considered, especially at the last World Cup, where he got them about as far as they probably should have gone and was undone by a red card in Copa America. And that's what cost them getting out of the group and cost him his job. And now he's in a different job. Let it go. Let him go work and let him do a good job with Chicago Fire. They had a big win. Um, he's got a lot to do to rebuild the Chicago Fire. It's a team that's been bad for a while. I think he's probably going to get them to be a much better club. We'll see how much better. We'll see if they can be a contender. Give him time. But yeah, it's there's some vitriol there that doesn't quite match up to the reality of the situation, and it's a shame. The other result that I wanted to touch on was Houston, a 2-0 win at Dallas. That was punctuated by a long range golazo from Jack McGlynn, player that I keep thinking will break out big for Houston. I think he's suited for that style. The Dynamo struggled in the first portion of the season. We'll see if they can get going. Supporter Shield standings, top five. Number one, Philadelphia on 29 points. Cincinnati also on 29 points. Vancouver on 28. Columbus on 27. Minnesota on 25. Bottom five in the Supporter Shield standings: Sporting Kansas City, 12 points in 26th. St. Louis on 11 points in 27th. Atlanta also on 11 points in 28th. Montreal on 7 points in 29th. And the LA Galaxy on 4 points in 30th. In WSL, the North Carolina Courage, they're unbeaten in 4 games after a 2-0 win over Chicago. Both goals were scored by 20-year-old Japanese national team player Manaka Matsukubo. Really exciting player who got her debut for Japan in the She Believes Cup this year. Kansas City Current, they beat Orlando to stay on top of the table and open a 4-point lead for the Shield over San Diego. Shield standings in the NWSL: KC on 21, San Diego on 17, Orlando on 16, Portland also on 16, Washington also on 16. Bottom five: Bay FC on 11, Louisville on 11, Houston on 10, Utah on 5, and Chicago on 4. FA Cup finals over the weekend. On the men's side, Crystal Palace, they defeated Manchester City 1-0. It's Palace's first ever major trophy. They'll be in the Europa League next year, their first major European competition. On the women's side, Chelsea, they completed a domestic treble 3-0 win over Manchester United. Katarina Macario and Naomi Girma of the U.S. women's national team, both contributors in this match. Macario scored. Girma contributed to the clean sheet. Chelsea have won 14 of their last 16 matches with Manchester United. Serie A announced this morning the two potential title deciding matches of the season have been moved to Friday night. Serie A announced on Monday that Napoli's home game with Cagliari and Inter's match at Como will kick off simultaneously at 8:45 p.m. local time. Antonio Conte's Napoli has a 1-point lead over defending champions Inter going into the last matches of the season. If they finish level at the top of the league, there will have to be a playoff to decide who wins the title. Both Simone Inzaghi and Antonio Conte were sent off yesterday. They will be banned from the touchline for these matches just to add to the drama both teams drew yesterday. The Dutch title, PSV, they came back to pass Ajax for the championship, their second straight. Ajax had a 9-point lead with 5 matches to play. PSV went on a 7-game winning streak that helped them surge past the leaders to win the title. Francesco Farioli has stepped down as Ajax manager after the collapse. In Portugal, Sporting, they won the league title after it went down to the wire with Benfica. Victor Gyökeres, he scored 39 goals in 34 games for the champions. We'll go to Mexico, Liga MX. Club America, they will face Toluca in the final with a chance to win their 4th straight league title. Las Águilas 2-1 win over Cruz Azul at home. That leveled the aggregate to 2-2. America was the better placed team during the regular season, so they advance on the tiebreaker. Toluca, they won 3-0 at home over Tigres to advance comfortably. Let's go to Scotland. A couple of stories there. Aberdeen defender Jack McKenzie, he was left bloodied and bandaged after having appeared to be struck by a plastic seat thrown from the stands following his team's Scottish Premiership defeat at Dundee United. Aberdeen were jumped for the 4th spot, the final European qualification spot, by Dundee United due to the result. The home side's fans, Dundee United, invaded the pitch at the end of the match. They were in the area of the stadium where the visiting Aberdeen fans were seated. A plastic object was thrown from the stands onto the field and hit McKenzie. It was thrown from the Aberdeen supporter section. I don't believe it was at McKenzie. I want to be clear. I think it was at the Dundee United fans. That doesn't justify it, but they didn't throw something at their own player. They threw something and it hit their own player, which shows you how stupid it is to throw things on the field. A Scottish Professional Football League spokesperson, the SPFL, said that the league were enormously disappointed by the, quote, moronic behavior, unquote, at the end of the game. I like it. That's true. It is absolutely reprehensible. Do not throw things on the field because sometimes your aim might not be as good as you think it is. And you might actually hit somebody that you didn't intend to hit, like your own player who was injured somewhat badly with a plastic seat hitting them in the face. Don't have, quote, moronic behavior, unquote, please. Let's stay in Scotland for something a little bit better, at least for one club. Calvin Ford, the great-great-grandson of Ford Motor Company founder Henry Ford. He has become the new chairman and majority shareholder of Scottish football club Livingston. They're in the Scottish Championship, second tier. He's acquired 100% of former owner John McElvogue's shares in Bay Cup Limited, the group that has held a significant stake in the club since 2023. So I don't think he owns it outright, but he owns the majority stake. Livingston finished the current season in second place in the championship. They were relegated from the Premiership in the prior campaign. Ford was in attendance at Almondvale Stadium on Friday for Livingston's 2-0 win over Partick Thistle in the Premiership playoff semifinal. So now Livingston will take on whoever finishes 11th in the Premiership, either Dundee FC or Ross County. That's going to be over 2 legs. And the winner of that will be in the Premiership next year. The loser will be in the Championship. Interesting. So Calvin Ford might be buying into a top flight Scottish football club if they can get there. They got to win a match to get there over 2 legs. Let's go to Croatia, an interesting one. Marijan Kustic, the FA president of Croatia, he will watch the Croatian title race unfold on the Bosiljevo motorway interchange with the trophy in hand. He's going to be there, kind of stationed there. When the title race is decided, he will be driven, quote, as fast as allowed, unquote, to one of the 3 stadiums to hand the trophy to the winning team. Um, Kind of helps that the country is small, kind of helps that they're all close by, but he's, I guess, going to be watching from a car. Hopefully, it's a nice car. Hopefully, he's got good streaming capabilities. Chaos. Very, very chaotic in Croatia. Let's get caught up on the Club World Cup. Real Madrid, they have been very bold in wanting to get guys in ahead of the tournament. They have completed the signing of Bournemouth center back Dean Huijsen, 20-year-old defender. He was targeted by everybody: Chelsea, Arsenal, Bayern, Liverpool, Newcastle. He's going to join Real Madrid at the end of the season. They agreed to pay a £50 million release clause. Madrid tried to sign him. He was born in the Netherlands. He's a Spain international. Tried to sign him when he was a youth player at Malaga. They continued to track the former Juventus and Roma defender's progress. His idol is Sergio Ramos. Spent time on loan at Roma. He signed for Bournemouth in July of 2024. Family moved to Spain from the Netherlands when he was 5. Last year, he pledged his allegiance to Spain. He played for the Dutch youth national teams, got his first caps for Spain in March. He will be joining in ahead of the Club World Cup. They're trying to finalize the deal with Trent Alexander-Arnold to join before the Club World Cup. They might add Nico Paz before the Club World Cup. Reports from Cadena Cope in Spain, they have an opportunity to buy him back. They have a €9 million buyback option from Como. He was allowed a €6 million move there. Had a good season with Como. The Argentine international has been great. They could bring him back. Now, what does that look like for him and Arda Güler? Does it mean that Güler or Paz might leave again before next season? Not sure, but they might get this done ahead of the Club World Cup. Interesting for Real Madrid. They're also trying to get a left back, and we'll see if that can get done in time. They will get Xabi Alonso in place ahead of time, so that will help them as well. On Friday, it was announced that the play-in match between Club America and LAFC, that's going to be on Saturday, May 31st at BMO Stadium. Going to kick off at 10:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 local. It will be live streamed on DAZN. Potential sub-licensing deals to be announced. It will not be treated as an LAFC home match. FIFA will be running the match as a neutral venue. The winner will enter the tournament in Group D and start their schedule in Atlanta against Chelsea on June 16th. There's talk at Manchester City. Kevin De Bruyne, who was linked with Chicago Fire, I think is still on the table for Chicago, but has also now been linked with Napoli, other potential moves around Europe, around the world, to be honest. One move could be to stay with Manchester City through the Club World Cup. That has been reported, although he has cast some doubt on that. He's out of contract at the end of the season, going to be a free agent, and he's got a very, I think, smart take on this. He said, quote, I think in a way I have to take care of myself because if I get injured in the Club World Cup, what am I going to do? Nobody's going to take care of me at that point. So there's a big chance probably I won't play it, but I don't know. Maybe yes. Yeah, that's a huge risk for him, especially if he doesn't have his next deal done ahead of time. If he has it done ahead of time and everybody's good and insurance papers are signed, then perhaps Manchester City could potentially use him in the competition. Again, Manchester City will play in Atlanta as well against Al Ain in the group stage. Marca, they reported on Sunday that Cristiano Ronaldo has received a tempting offer from an unnamed Brazilian club. Love the drama, love the controversy. That would give the Al Nasser captain the possibility of playing at the Club World Cup. Al Nasser, they're not going to win a trophy this season. They did not qualify for the Asian Champions League elite stage. They are not participating at the Club World Cup. He turned 40 in February. He has yet to sign a new deal with Al Nasser. His contract ends on June 30th. 33 goals in 39 games across all competitions this year for Al Nasser, and maybe, perhaps, possibly playing in the Club World Cup this summer. If you are new to the Club World Cup, it's 32 teams from all 6 confederations all over the world. It's going to start on June 14th in Miami Inter Miami playing Al Ahly. First game in Atlanta is going to be June 16th with either Club America or LAFC playing Chelsea. June 19th will be Miami against Porto. June 22nd, Manchester City against Abu Dhabi's Al Ain. 3 knockout games in Atlanta on June 29th, July 1st, and July 5th. The final of the competition will be at MetLife Stadium on July 13th. Match tickets, and there's some deals available for you. They are available via FIFA.com/tickets. Hospitality packages also available, and there are potential ways if you want to get into the mix for World Cup tickets in 2026 by getting Club World Cup tickets. Yes, it is a possibility. Check out the hospitality packages, FIFA.com/hospitality. And why don't you check out Morning Espresso tomorrow as we come back with updates from around the world today. We're getting down to the end of the seasons in Europe. Silly season is off and running. Club World Cup preparations are off and running. I'm sure there will be all kinds of crazy news to talk about tomorrow morning on the next edition of the Morning Espresso presented by Oglethorpe University.